Hello, and welcome to this web presentation introducing you to the Indiana State Board of Accounts, who we are and what we do. My name is Todd Caldwell. I'll be joined later by Susan Gordon. Together, the two of us are directors of audit services specializing in city and town government. If city or town officials have questions, we are normally the first point of contact. So let's go ahead and get started with our slide presentation. The State Board of Accounts is the independent audit agency for state and local government. The Board of Accounts was established by Indiana Code 5-11-1. We audit political subdivisions, including their financial statements and underlying financial records and accounts. The documentation of our audit work comes in the form of a published report at an audit's conclusion. That report is filed by the state examiner, at which time it becomes a public record. The report contains the city or town's financial statements, our opinion as to the accuracy of those financial statements, and any significant non-compliance noted during an audit. Now I'll turn it over to Susan.
Hello, this is Susan Gordon, and I also am a director of audit services for cities and towns. We wanted to show you on this next slide our mission statement of the State Board of Accounts. The mission statement says, "We are dedicated to providing the citizens of the state of Indiana with complete confidence in the integrity and financial accountability of state and local government." We always like to start out with this because it's a very important statement to know and remember, because we are all public servants and we are all wanting to provide our citizens with confidence in the integrity and financial accountability of the funds that are entrusted in municipalities.
The Board of Accounts was created in 1909 and was known then as the Department of Inspection and Supervision of Public Offices. It stayed as such until 1945, when the duties of the Department of Inspection were changed and we became the State Board of Accounts. The Board of the State Board of Accounts consists of the state examiner and two deputy state examiners. The board members are appointed by the governor, with the appointments requiring acceptance by the Indiana General Assembly's Legislative Council. The current state examiner is Paul Joyce. The state examiner participates on the State Board for Depositories and the Oversight Commission on Public Records by statute. The deputy state examiners are Michael Bazimski and Tammy White. Board members are active members of the Association of Government Accountants, the National Association of State Auditors, the Government Finance Officers Association, the Public Integrity Coalition, the Distressed Units Board, and many other national and state organizations committed to the improvement of government accounting and auditing. If you ever have any questions or need assistance, here's our contact information. On all of these webinar videos that you're going to see, we try to include this at least once, if not more. You don't have to wait until the next audit to ask questions. You can contact us at any time. You can email cities.towns@sboa.in.gov. That's an email address that Susan and I both have access to, and we can read your emails and answer them accordingly. Or you can call 317-232-2513. If it's something that isn't easily put in an email or you just want to speak to us, that's fine as well. Susan is normally in the office Tuesday through Fridays, and I'm usually in the office Monday through Thursday. So one of us is usually here each day of the week. With the volume of calls and emails that we get, sometimes it's not easy to get back to you, at least as quickly as we'd like. So please be patient. We're not ignoring you, or we're just busy with other things, and we'll try to get to you as soon as we can. If you're old school and you want to mail us something, here's our mailing address: 302 West Washington Street, room E418, Indianapolis. And there's our website, in.gov/SBOA. In a minute, we'll take a quick walkthrough. I'll show you some stuff, and then Susan is going to be back to go more in depth on some of the information that you should find useful. One of the first questions many new officials have is, when am I going to get audited? Indiana Code 5-11-1-25 states, State Board of Accounts shall conduct examinations of audited entities at times determined by the State Board of Accounts, but not less than once every 4 years, using risk-based examination criteria that are established by the Board of Accounts and approved by the Audit Committee. The risk-based examination criteria must include the following risk factors. An audited entity has a newly elected or appointed fiscal officer. That increases the risk. An audited entity A has not timely filed, or B has filed a materially incorrect or incomplete annual financial report. That can increase the risk as well. And the third factor is anything else determined by the state examiner and approved by the Audit Committee. Under some circumstances, an audit may be required annually. For example, because of the receipt of federal financial assistance in excess of $750,000, due to any continuing disclosure requirements that might exist either from a bank or bond rating company, or as a condition of a public bond issuance. Sometimes when a unit is issuing bonds, the bond documents have a requirement that there's an annual audit, and we will try to meet those conditions. You need to know if you ever need an annual audit because of those three things, federal grants over $750,000, or you're issuing bonds, or you have a continuing debt disclosure requirement, you need to let us know within 60 days of the end of the year so that we can work you in our audit plan for that year. Now let's take a look at our website, where I know you'll find a lot of useful information and a quick reference to answering some questions that you might have. There are some cosmetic changes to be planned, but the overall concept of navigating the website is going to be the same. And you can see here, this is our home page. There are things on this page to see, like the audit reports, where you can click and search filed audit reports by unit name or unit type. You can also see the state examiner directives at this location, or send us a question, or look at our newsroom. But probably what you'll be most interested in is over here on the left-hand side under political subdivisions. If you click on that, you'll get a drop-down general overview of the Board of Accounts and all the unit types that we audit. So you'll be primarily interested in cities and towns. So for the further discussion, I'm just going to click on cities. The towns page is almost identical, but I think for what we're going to do here and what Susan's going to talk about, we'll just concentrate on the cities page, and I'll turn it over to her for further discussion.
Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the cities page. And you can see at the top here, we have our contact information for Todd Caldwell and Susan Gordon. Next down, we have hot topics, and of course, these change throughout the year. Right now, the hot topic is the gateway changes for the annual financial report and the enhanced regulatory changes. And we'll be doing some more training on that in the future. So you, of course, could look through that now if you would like to do so. If you come on down, there's just an overview of State Board of Accounts responsibilities here, especially in regard to the frequency of our examinations, not being less than once every 4 years. You can go on down to corrective action plans for repeat findings, which we, again, can get to in later training. Internal control standards has a lot of information, including our internal control manual, generally accepted government auditing standards. There's a reference to the statute that requires internal control training here in the adoption of standards. Here's a certification form for recording training done for internal controls. And we have an entirely separate webinar on our newly elected information for you on that subject. If you are looking for the State Board of Accounts approved video for internal controls that satisfies the requirements of 511-127, you can find it right here for your viewing, and just keep documentation that you have viewed that. On down, this section on uniform compliance guidelines, those are very important, and we do have a separate video on that subject, including more information on state examiner directives, the manuals that are available to you in our bulletins. In the next section on presentation and training materials, that has all of the PowerPoint slides from our recent meetings. So you can see here we have some information on the YouTube channel, but we also have a lot of information from previous meetings that you might want to take a look at. Some information on the enhanced regulatory changes, public purchasing, and so forth. So we'll scroll on down here outside of that section. We do have a best practices section that we'll be adding to. Right now it has two documents in it on credit cards and small purchases, and those are just documents to help you think about things to put for your internal control purposes on those items. It also has some other resources, links to associations. Indiana Code section has by topic the Indiana codes that would be applicable to you. So if you're looking for something in compensation and benefits, you could click here and find the statutes related to compensation and benefits. As we continue on down, there's a section called the Highway Annual Operational Report. We'll provide training on that in the future for that report that's due in June. Next down is information on Gateway, and we do have three sections here for the annual financial report, the 100R, and the Gateway upload application. We have separate webinars for newly elected officials on all three of these topics. I will say if you are, when you're doing your annual financial report, if you're looking for the code tables, this is where they're located right here. Todd's already talked to you about how to search the audit reports, and then there's a section here if you would like to provide some comments on our staff. And then finally, responsibilities under 511-127. We'll provide you some additional information on that in another webinar. But if you have a situation where you have an erroneous or irregular material variance, loss, shortage, or theft, you would report it here on our website, or you can report it by contacting us at cities.towns. So that's all the information I have on our website at this time. We'll go back to our contact page.
So we're back to our contact information again. If you need to reach us, we want to thank you for watching, and we look forward to working with you during your term in office. Again, if you need to reach out, it's cities.towns@sboa.in.gov or 317-232-2513. Thanks.